Microsoft and Sony finally released the prices of their respective new What's up, Earthlings? The battle of the next-gen consoles, the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 is upon us. In this video, we're going to look at 5 main key points of the next-gen consoles to help you make a purchasing decision. We're going to look at performance, exclusives, price, release date, design, and whether or not it's really worth it to go next-gen at launch or just wait for 2021. Design and performance. Microsoft has opted for minimalistic design with the Xbox Series X. It's a rectangular tower that resembles a small PC with an Xbox logo up top, which is painted on, by the way, and is not LED. It's approximately 11.9 inches tall and 6 inches wide and deep. It's not large by any means, but it might be difficult to fit in some entertainment centers. The single large fan up top the Xbox Series X will provide cooling and allow it to be positioned vertically or horizontally, and should allow for relatively quiet performance, the kind of performance we've come to expect from Xbox. While the PlayStation 5 design isn't for everyone, a large number of gamers, PlayStation loyalists, find this design to be better than the Xbox. I really don't care for this new design language that Sony is going with, but I must admit that the DualSense controller of the new PlayStation 5 is quite the thing to look at. I mean, just look at this. What? In terms of specs, the Xbox Series X's CPU is an 8-core custom Zen 2 processor running at 3.8 GHz. Its GPU is a custom RDNA 2 processor at 1.825 GHz with 52 CUs that will create 12 teraflops. This puts Microsoft's new console at par with some of the higher-end gaming PCs. Other hardware includes 16 GB of GDDR6 RAM, a 1 TB SSD, HDMI 2.1 connection carried over from the Xbox One X, and an optical drive for game discs. The SSD will incorporate a new feature called Xbox Velocity Architecture, which will let developers make use of up to 100 GB of game assets instantaneously. For more on the specs of the Xbox Series X, click the card right now to watch my full in-depth video. The PS5 CPU is an 8-core processor running at 3.5 GHz. Its GPU is clocked at 2.33 GHz with 36 CUs that will create 10.3 teraflops, and that puts its performance a little bit lower than the Xbox Series X. Other hardware includes 16 GB of GDDR6 RAM and 825 GB SSD with external storage support. Design is really subjective, that my opinion really doesn't matter into making a purchasing decision. The PS5 is objectively more attractive, but I personally like the minimalistic design language that Microsoft is going with the Xbox Series X. The hands-down winner in terms of performance though is the Xbox. Sony put a lot of weight into the speed of its SSD, and we'll have to wait to look at what that looks like in real-world performance. But at least on paper, and based on Microsoft's track record, the Xbox Series X is a more powerful gaming console. Exclusives. After the Xbox showcase on July 23rd, we have a much better idea of what to expect from Microsoft when it comes to new exclusives and releases. Halo Infinite is still the platform's biggest title, although it won't be ready during launch, and we'll have to wait until 2021. But we also have other options like Senua's Saga, a surprise reveal of Fable 4, Forza Motorsport 8, and State of Decay 3, which are all making their way to the Xbox Series X. One interesting thing about Xbox exclusives is they're not just exclusive to the Xbox Series X at launch. Every Xbox game from a first-party studio is coming straight to PC and Xbox One. We also know about a few PlayStation 5 exclusives, including Miles Morales, Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart, and Horizon Forbidden West. The Xbox Series X seems to have a more interesting launch release exclusive list, since A, you don't necessarily need to own an Xbox Series X to play the new releases, and B, most of the games teased during PlayStation's showcase are available cross-platform, so they'll be available for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, which doesn't give Sony an edge over Microsoft in this regard. Release dates and price. Microsoft and Sony finally released the prices of their respective new next-gen consoles. $499 for the Series X and $299 for the Series S. Sony fired back during its September 16th PlayStation 5 showcase, announcing that the PS5 and the PS5 digital version will launch November 12th with a price tag of $499 and $399 respectively. The Xbox Series X and the Series S will be available November 10th. So the big question is, should you go next gen? Both Sony and Microsoft have been very transparent about how backwards compatibility works on both their systems. The Xbox Series X seems to be more robust when it comes to supporting backwards compatibility, but the PS5 should have plenty of older games that it can handle. If you own an Xbox One X, however, you should be fine for the foreseeable future, since like I mentioned before, Microsoft is focusing on an ecosystem, on building an ecosystem rather than sales of new console releases. The new releases coming from Microsoft will be available on the Series X, Xbox One, and PC, therefore beating the purpose of having an Xbox Series X at launch. The new Series X controllers will be compatible with the Xbox One, and Xbox One controllers will be compatible with the Series X. Sony tried matching this and released a statement talking about how the DualSense controller will be compatible on the PlayStation 4 Pro, but not on the PlayStation 4 Pro games. Which makes absolutely no sense if you ask me. So if you have a PlayStation 4 Pro, Sony definitely wants you to go next gen, and you probably should go next gen. So when it comes to some of these metrics that you have to think about, performance, design, price, release dates, exclusives, I think Microsoft this generation is giving more than Sony has to offer. So I really do feel like Microsoft is giving better value for money to its consumers, and Sony is still stuck in these very old ways, archaic ways of working, which is very detrimental to us and our wallets. So that was our video for today. I hope it helps you in making a purchasing decision. Let me know what console you're looking to get in the comments. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if it's your first time here, share it with your gamer friends who would be interested in this kind of information, and I'll see you guys in the next video.